It took 15 years for a computer to reach 1 million users. It took 10 years for internet to reach 1 million users. It took 2.5 years for smartphone to reach 1 million users. Facebook, 10 months. Instagram, 2.5 months. ChatGPT, 5 days.
Welcome to another episode of Strong Conversations, real stories with the innovators, change makers, and leaders here in the building industry. I am Sam Marcoux, as always, and I am literally sitting down with the person who wrote the book for AI and residential construction, Grace Mase. Thank you for joining us here on Strong Conversations.
Thank you so much for having me.
Now, this book, we're sitting down here, it's February of 2026. We're at the International Builder Show in Orlando, Florida. This book, published by the NAHB, is launched pretty much as we are talking right now. It's just come out. You have been an extremely, extremely busy individual over the last 3 days as this has been launched. We're doing book signings. You're on panels. You're meeting with all kinds of different, industry folks and institutions. It's been a whirlwind.
It has been. It's been extraordinarily exciting to recognize that our industry is ready. We're ready to take it to the next level. That's a part of the thrill.
I mean, that's what you're seeing and hearing from everybody, right? We're ready to embrace AI.
Yes.
We're ready to figure it out. We just got to figure out how to use it effectively, and then put that plan into action.
Exactly. And have a strategy.
Yeah.
And be able to understand how to even track the performance and how are they doing, and how to expand, what's the next level they need to get to.
So let's start at the beginning here as to why this book was written. Why did we write this book? This is not the first book you've ever written.
Correct.
I kind of liked in the dedication page of the book, you talked about how you promised you'd never write another book, but here we are. It's the book that had to be written.
Yes.
And even, in terms of AI, how you wrote this book and wrote it faster than your other book, I mean, it comes into relevance.
Yes.
When we're talking about artificial intelligence.
Right.
So let's get you the street cred. Why are you the right person to write this book? What experiences, what brings you to say, I'm the person that needs to write this book? Well,
I am a trained architect. I am also NASLA accredited general contractor for commercial and multi-state remodel contractor, licensed contractor. And I've been in the tech space for 25 years. I developed software from Yahoo to others, reputable companies, public companies, for applications that's serving millions of people around the world. And I live in the world of both technology as well as our construction industry. And what I see the discrepancy between the two worlds is the world of technology tend to be very adaptive.
Yes.
They're taking the technology very quickly, and they're leveraging an extraordinary speed. But when I see the other side of my world is the construction, and we spend so much time focused on building. Mm. And reality is we do use power tools to amplify our strength.
Right.
And we use multiple power tools to do so, and different traits to work on different scenarios. But in terms of technology, we tend to focus on one or limited view. And that's when I realized the gap between the two is massive. And I want to find a way to bridge that gap. And knowing that most of the contractors, not because they don't want to learn, it's just simply they don't have time. They're exhausted by the end of the day.
Yes.
And for them, the last time they study any kind of building materials or building science was the time they were applying for or taking the license exam.
Yeah.
So how do we get the information to them quickly? And that's a part I was focused on. Reduce a gap of knowledge. And so AI seemed to be the right tool. They can get their information at their fingertips to customize to their needs. So they don't have to read a long blog or understand how is this application applied to their business. They can simply ask an AI tool to understand what piece of it is applicable to them and how would they implement it and what would be the results, what's the expectation, and continue to iterate. That's the part I got really excited. And for me, the genesis of all this motivation really started with the fire in Los Angeles last year, 2025. we had to evacuate, and fortunately we were safe with our house. Unfortunately, many of my friends' houses were burned down. And while I'm trying to help my friends rebuild their homes, I also realized many of the contractors are trying to do the same, but they're not thinking what's the latest, greatest that I can help my clients to protect their homes so their homes can be built safer, more efficient, and healthier.
Yeah.
They're just continuing to build as what I know already. This is what I've been doing. They're comfortable doing that. And there's nothing wrong in other circumstances. But in cases like Los Angeles, the fire area, we had to rethink about how we rebuilt these buildings, homes. And so while I'm leveraging AI, doing code changes and meeting with the official department, fire departments, building departments, and planning departments, I'm usually the one sitting there by myself asking these questions. I just thought, wow, the missing gap of knowledge is so evident. How do I, and knowing that a contractor will, develop the strategy, get the plans approved, and then next thing you know, as they're building some of the details, they will get rejected by an inspector. That's a waste of time and money.
Right.
And create massive frustration among everyone. So I thought, how about if I start writing a book and just breaking down to the simple ways for people to learn to adopt, taking one step at a time, even help them to understand security, and then start looking at throughout the whole construction process. Where are all the frictions associated to each one? And how do we find AI solutions to help them, to support them? And there are tons of great AI tools, and they're very specific solving those problems. And obviously, there are general AI tools that help them to get to the knowledge so they can figure out how to take it the next step. So that's why I decided to write the book, be able to help my peers. And the goal is, if everyone start building homes more resiliently, and that means every upgrade will be more affordable and every communities will be protected. And best part of all this is every contractors will be empowered to thrive.
And it is available and things are out there, but how do you sift through all the information to get to what you want? So bear with me on this, because I did not go to Yale like you did. I did not go to Cal Berkeley like you did. So you, quite frankly, you are quite the right person to write this book, given your experience and your professional background as well as your education. But there's another book. When I read this book, there's another book that comes to mind, and it's going to make sense. But do you remember? Are you familiar with Where's Waldo?
Yes, of course.
Right, and you open up the book for Where's Waldo, and it's this massive scene of people and things and events, and your task as the reader is to find the one character. That's the most important thing out of everything else. Everything else is just there.
Yes.
So when I read this book and I read about what you're doing, it's like when you open up Where's Waldo, and it was just and if it would just be Waldo sitting on the beach instead of this entire scene, and you go, there he is.
Yes.
I've now got to where I need to be, and I can move forward.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, that's what this kind of was. And that's for the folks that didn't go to Yale. They're looking at this going, that makes sense to me. It sifts through the stuff that's irrelevant for that particular person, and they'll have the tools to get to what they need so that they can be better at their job, and they can build better and more resilient structures going forward at a much easier, timely way.
Absolutely. That's exactly the purpose of the book. How do I sift through the sand to find the gold nuggets so you can then take the gold nugget and run with it and build your business on top of it? Not so much of figure out, just like what I found is I love IBS, but personally, it's a lot.
It's a lot.
There's so many great companies here. And how do I sift through to figure it out?
Yes.
And I actually use AI to plan my days for IBS. I identify where are my interests and what are my priorities, and some in my current schedule, book signing, all of the great stuff, and who are maybe interested to me that would like to learn more about their product, and have it go through, break down the logic, read the floor plans, and then go through the exhibit hall and identify the speakers and map everything out. And then give me a walk path of what I need to do, knowing that I only got 3 days and there's so many things to see and so many people I want to talk to and so many brands I want to learn. How do I get through those? As well as mark that, automatically log that into my calendar and map out my schedule. So I don't have to think. I want to reduce my cognitive load to focus on things that matter, is like connection.
Right.
talking to each other,
Yes.
building relationship, learning new things. Those are the things that matter to me. I certainly don't enjoy sitting there mapping out my schedule, looking at the plans, and I'm sure it's good exercises. I've done it too many times at
If
IBS.
if you've done it once, you've done it 10,000
Right.
times.
And now I have an agent that would do that. Every year I'll just use the same prompt. It will provide that for me.
So interesting. I'll share an experience that I have as well. I've been doing these podcasts for a number of years, and we tend to sit down at a big event and we record what we call them batches, right? So we have lots of guests come in, we sit down, we talk to them. You and I had a pre-call, get to know each other, understand why you wrote the book, how you wrote the book, find out that you're a Dodgers fan just like me. Again, more than qualified, one of the smartest people on the planet right there. Just alone with that fact, take all the education out of it. In years past, we're talking 25 episodes that I might be recording. I am writing every single question, because I give you questions ahead of time and go, this is kind of what I'm thinking for the show.
Right.
I take all the notes and I have to look at the notes. I have to make sure that the notes that I'm writing make sense, because sometimes they don't. Something comes up, you write something down and go, I'll totally remember what that is later, and you don't.
Right.
But I take all those notes and then I have to sit there and I manually type all the questions, right? It's an analog process. Mm-hmm. This year is the first year where I have sat down and I will take bios that I find online of folks such as yourself. I'll take my notes and I will put them into an agent and say, give me some sample questions that I can at least approve. It spits it out like that.
Right.
I take a look and go, I don't like that. That one's kind of redundant to that one up there. But now I got 10 to 15 questions that I feel like I can start to generate a story with.
Right.
And then I send them to you in this case.
Right.
And here we are.
Right.
The process was so much faster.
Yes.
The stress was so much lower.
Yes.
Because I knew, okay, if I'm getting an official, now look, you do have to make sure that the bio is correct. You're pulling the right Grace Mase bio and all that other stuff. I mean, there is work that still needs to be done. But my whole process, it brought down things that used to take weeks, takes days. Things that take days take hours. Things that take hours take minutes. Yes. And if we utilize it the right way, and that's just one, and I loved what you said in the book, find a problem. Find one problem that you're looking to solve. You're not going to solve everything right away, especially if you're just getting started.
Right.
But find one problem to solve and then figure out the right sort of AI to use to solve that problem. And guess what? I'm not going back to the old way of doing it. As I go forward and we do more interviews, I'm going to use that same process or build upon that process to be even more efficient. So it was one of those things where as I'm reading your book and I'm thinking about my own process, this is starting to make sense to me.
Oh, good. Yes, I'm so excited to hear that. When I think about what we do, 80% of the time we are actually focused on grunt work.
Yep.
Right? 20% of the time, that's where we focus on things that matter. Mm-hmm. Whether it's personal, professional, actually move the needles. Imagine just like your scenario, and I love that story, is what if we flip that around and have the 80% to be meaningful, impactful work that we get to do and we love to do, right? Yeah. And then reduce that previous 80% grunt work down to 20% the oversight.
Yes.
Still looking for accuracy, still looking for credible sources, and that becomes much more efficient. And then you start focusing on not being stressed. You're actually emotionally in a better place to engage.
Yeah.
And I think about when you talk about acceleration, it also really matters if you put things in perspective. Like my generation, Gen X, we didn't born with computer. We didn't born with the internet.
Right.
But we can't live without them anymore. The next generation is about smartphones and social media. Mm-hmm. And then now the new generation of Gen Z with agentic AI, and also will be down with the generative AI and agentic AI.
Yeah.
Right? It took 15 years for a computer to reach 1 million users. It took 10 years for internet to reach 1 million users. It took 2.5 years for smartphone to reach 1 million users. Facebook, 10 months. Instagram, 2.5 months. ChatGPT, 5 days.
5 days to hit that same benchmark of all those other ones.
So knowing that technology is accelerating, and these are things that we can't live without anymore. We can imagine life, what was like.
It's like a utility.
Before. It's a utility. It's a table stake.
Yeah.
We have to know how to use it so we can adapt and get better. Us, just a human being, we continue to evolve in terms of tools that we use and continue to ladder up our education, our learning. And that's what all these tools are. I know there are certain things people are afraid of AI, and rightfully so. Those are good questions to ask, but there are ways to resolve them. And we just need to be intentional how we use them and focus on how we can help each other to learn and get better at everything.
In the residential space too, I mean, one of the examples you use in the book is we have hammers. We've had hammers forever,
Yeah.
and we're pounding nails. And at some point, the pneumatic nailer came up.
Yes.
Well, we still have the person there using that tool. It's just a tool that allows us to be more efficient.
Yes.
AI very much should be looked at as an additional tool, an
Absolutely.
improvement on the process.
Right.
It's not necessarily going to replace the people. But you said something that was pretty profound in the book, is it's not going to replace people. It's going to replace people who don't use AI.
Unfortunately.
And you talked about the gap within the residential space. There's a huge opportunity right now for people in the residential building space. Why is that when it comes to AI and adoption?
When you think about the general population, it's about 50% adoption using some sort of AI daily usage. But with us, residential construction, the recent study that was done by NHB in July, only showing 20%, and primarily in marketing and sales. The things that we haven't really dived into are what's in the field. And to me, that's an enormous opportunity. Imagine even start from the whole entire process, uploading the plans and specs to be identify some deficiencies and able to call it out before any breaking the ground.
Yeah.
That itself is going to save you so much time and so much money and a headache, right?
Yeah.
That pre-construction piece will make a huge difference on how a team actually operates. That becomes a collective collaboration, focus on how do we solve problems together versus pointing fingers towards the end, who didn't do what.
Right.
That, to me, is a huge opportunity.
Huge.
Right? To understand the latest code compliance, like it or not, you need to get those inspections in, or even the job site, taking photos. Is this installed correctly? Or even teaching the new employee apprenticeship of here's how you do things. Pull up a video to show how this could be done, how you're fitting the pipes. All those things that we can be so much more efficient if we just bridge that gap of the knowledge gap.
And it's like you said in the book, the ones that do this now, because this is not the future state.
No,
This is now.
this is a now.
So the ones that do it now are ultimately going to be the ones that are the next generation and beyond
Right,
going forward.
right.
So from a business opportunity, it makes all the sense in the world to get on that train, the AI train now, figure out why it works for your business, what will work for your business, and grow from there.
Absolutely. So when I mentioned about the time to reach 1 million, that's proportionate how much money you'll be making too. If you're able to save, let's say 4 to 5 hours a week, that's like 150 to 200 hours a year.
Yeah.
Right. When you start multiplying the time per person to your entire organization, the amount of new project you could do, existing projects that you can save, and the productivity and also just general satisfaction within the team that they feel so much empowered and they can focus on things that truly matter to them instead of working on the grunt work. That's a game changer to me. And for us, so during writing this book, while the editors doing the editing, I realized from research that no one's really focused on how do we help to bridge a gap in the financial piece too. And this is where I realized AI could help. Just like I was helping my friends who unfortunately was underinsured, they had to bridge that financial gap. And I started working on developing just a little bit of AI agent to figure things out and help them to find all the grants and all the rebates, incentives for them to kind of figure out what can we do. That's over $100,000 worth of
Incredible.
rebuild victims that most of them don't even know.
Right.
Imagine that, just having a sense of relief to know that I can make it happen and make it affordable for my client. And so I decided to build an AI app to really focus on that. I realized this is not just for me. All of our builders should do the same. So I build the app, make sure that not only can I talk the talk, I want to walk the walk, that I can build an AI app just like that.
She literally wrote the book on AI and residential construction. She built the app as well. Grace, tell everybody where they can find the book, where they can find the app, and just plug your pluggables. How can people get a hold of you?
Well, So excited to be here. Thank you so much, Sam, for being here with just interviewing me. And you can actually find the book at the store, and you can also order online on builderbooks.com.
Builderbooks.com.
And it's also available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble as well.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for being here on Strong Conversations. We really appreciate it. Really great conversation. Thank you for writing the book. Thank all of you for joining us here. We got more content coming soon. Remember, just like it, subscribe it, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere podcasts are found. More Strong Conversations coming soon.